Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Babak Imo TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Buhari regime places 5 million naira bounty on each on 19 wanted terrorists. Reps summon 63 agencies for spending 2 trillion naira without Buhari's approval. Court suspends Ndlea's trial in terrorism charges indefinitely. Kwara Monarchs begs government over 42-month salary arrears. Don't let half-salary issue degenerate to another strike. Nans Napton tell FG. Ndlea nabs wanted drug baron Lagos hotelier Ademola Cousin. Over 100 arrested for illegal tax collection in Benue. And a foreign story, Turkish Interior Minister rejects U.S. condolences after terror attack. On sports, Ghana don't deserve to be at the World Cup ahead of Nigeria. Now the news in detail. The Defense Headquarters on Monday declared 19 terrorists wanted and placed 5 million naira bounty on each of them. The details of the 19 terrorists are contained in a poster released by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Jimo Akpo, on Monday in Abuja. The information on the poster revealed that the 5 million naira cash reward is for anyone who could provide information that could lead to arrest of any of the terrorists. The wanted persons are notorious bandit terrorists that have been terrorizing Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara states, it said. The wanted terrorists are Sani Dangote, who hails from Dumboramo village in Zurmi LGA of Zamfara, Bello Turji Guda from Fakai in Zamfara, Leko from Mazur village in Mutazo LGA of Katsina, Dogona Ali from Yertsamia village in Kankara LGA of Katsina, Alilu Sabubu from Sabubu village in Maradun LGA of Zamfara, Nagona from Angwang Galadima in Isa LGA of Sokoto, Nasanda from Kwashabawa village in Zurmi LGA on Zamfara, Isia Kwashingarwa from Kamfani Daudawa village of Faskari in Katsina state, Ali Kachala aka Ali Kawaje from Kayumbara village in Dentsaudau, Maru of Zamfara, Abu Rade from Varanda village in Batsari LGA of Katsina, and so many others. Lastly, Monono from Yangtukami village in Den LGA Katsina. And the headquarters urged anyone with any useful information on the wanted terrorists to call the phone number which is stated with the information. Going on to the next story. The House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has summoned a total of 63 institutions over 2 trillion naira illegal spending. The committee stated that the institutions had implemented budgets which were not presented to President Muhammadu Buhari and passed by the National Assembly. The chairman of the committee, Oluwole Oke, also wrote a letter to the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akabweze, to demand evidence of appropriation by the National Assembly. The President is expected to transmit budgetary proposals of MDAs to the National Assembly, while the clerk transmits past budgets to the Presidency for implementation. However, Buhari, during a joint session of the National Assembly on October 7, 2022, berated the committee of the Parliament who were getting approval for government-owned enterprises without its consent. The committee, in a letter dated November 8, 2022, with reference number HR/PAC/SC05/9NASS and QUE 60/97, which was received at the Budget Office of the Federation on November 10, 2022, noted that the query was based on the alarm raised by the President. Moving to the next story. A federal high court in Abuja on Monday adjourned indefinitely the trial of the Biafra Nation agitator Ndlea in the terrorism charges brought against him by the federal government. Justice Binta Inyako put off the trial since at the instance of Kanu, pending the resolution of the federal government's appeal against the October 13 judgment of the Court of Appeal that discharged him from the terrorism charges. The federal government appeal seeking reversal of the Court of Appeal judgment is pending before the Supreme Court. 2 other cases billed for hearing before the court were also put off indefinitely for the same reason. Daily Post report that Kanu had refused to appear in court on Monday in protest against the refusal of the federal government to release him from detention as ordered by the Court of Appeal on October 13, 2022. Moving to Kwara State, traditional rulers in Oke-Ero and Ekiti local government areas of Kwara State have appealed to the state governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak to pay them arrears of 42 months' salary owed them by the past administration in the state. The shocking revolution of the salary arrears was among the requests made by traditional rulers at a town hall meeting held with the people of the 2 local councils at Osi in Ekiti local government area on Saturday by the governor. Speaking at the meeting, Owalobo of Oboile, Oba Michael Olusegun, and Dr. Olufemi Rotimi, who spoke on behalf of traditional rulers in Ekiti and Oke-Ero councils, respectively pleaded with the governor to pay the arrears of 42 months' salary owed them by the past administrations. While expressing appreciation for the promotion of some traditional stools, especially Onusakpa of Ishapa and Elekwe, the ruler said, "We are appealing to your excellency to use your good office to pay us the 42-month salary arrears which the past administration owed us." Other requests made by the rulers in the 2 councils, which had experienced several kidnappings from the bandits, included the establishment of an army barrack and the restricting of the security architecture to curb security challenges in the area. They also requested the creation of general hospitals and tertiary institutions, as well as the attraction of federal participation in the 2 councils. To the next story as regards ASU. Parents under the aegis of the National Parent-Teacher Association of Nigeria, NAPTEN, and the students under the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAS, have called on the federal government to treat softly and not allow the issue of the payment of salary of lecturers degenerated to another industrial action. Their calls are against the backdrop of plans by lecturers under the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to embark on rallies and declare a lecture-free day in protest against the payment of half salary to them by federal government last month after resuming from an 8-month-old strike. NAPTEN, through the national president Alhaji Aruna Danjuma, in a chat with Vanguard, said since the lecturers have continued from where they stopped in the 2021-2022 academic session, they should be paid. The government should do the right thing. They should pay the lecturers. We all know that some time has been wasted, but since there is an effort to bridge the gap one way or the other, nothing should be done to truncate the process again. Lecturers and students would only need to forfeit some holidays as parents. We don't want anything to rock the boat again. Parents are looking forward to the children finishing their studies and for them to reap the fruit of their labor. The issue of personality clash or ego should not be applied or allowed to push education into another crisis situation again. Announced in a statement by the Southwest Zone Coordinator Adegboye Olatunji, Deputy Coordinator Alao John, and Public Relations Officer Awunifa Okpeolua, said steps being taken by the current administration at the federal level are not showing it gives priority to education in Nigeria. Moving to Lagos State from Ndlea. 10 days after he was declared wanted, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Ndlea, have arrested fleeing Lagos socialite and owner of Adika's Hotels, Alhaji Ademola Afolabi Kazim, aka Alhaji Abdullah Kazim Mohammed, over offenses bordering on exportation and trafficking of illicit drugs, as well as money laundering. The agency had on Tuesday, 1st November, declared the suspect wanted following his failure to honor Ndlea invitations and an order granted by the Federal High Court in Lagos. The wanted drug kingpin was uncovered as a sponsor of some traffickers arrested by the Anti-Narcotics Agency in their recent attempt to export cocaine to Dubai, UAE, and other destinations outside Nigeria. A statement by Femi Babafemi's spokesman said the search for him, however, paid off on Thursday, 10th November, when he was successfully taken into custody, where he is currently being interviewed. His lead was blown open after the arrest of one of his moles, Bolujoko Muiwa Babalola, a Lagos BRT driver, on 27 June at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, MMIA, Ikeja, when he named Alhaji Ademola Kazeem, alias Adikas, as the owner of the 900 grams of cocaine he ingested. Following Adikas' failure to honor invitation sent to him, the agency approached a federal high court in Lagos with 3 prayers to attach and seal his identified properties to choice areas of Lagos Island and Ibadan, declaring him wanted and blocked his bank account with a cash balance of 217 million naira, all which are granted. Moving on to the next story in Benue. The chairman of the Benue Internal Revenue Service, BIRS, Mrs. Mimi Akwaze Oribibi, weekend disclosed that over 100 persons have been arrested and arraigned for operating illegal tax collection points across the states. Mrs. Orubibi said more arrests have been made to ensure that the criminal elements harassing traders and well as businessmen and women on Benue highways are brought to justice. The chairman, in a statement by a media assistant, Jacob Suswam, in commemoration of 1 year in office, explained that the arrests were made within the period, assuring that the onslaught on the illegal tax syndicates would be sustained in order to effectively stem the menace of multiple taxation in the states. She stated that the period had also witnessed impactful reforms in the service, saying revenue administration in Benue State has recorded great improvement in the last 1 year following the automation of tax processes, procedures and enforcement in line with one of the cardinal goals of the administration of Governor Samuel Ortom on revenue security. Going on to the foreign story from Turkey. Turkish Interior Minister Süleyman Soylu on Monday rejected Washington's words of condolences following Sunday's terrorist attack in Istanbul, which left 6 dead and many injured. Soylu repeated his accusation against Washington of supporting terrorist organizations in northern Syria, saying, "We do not accept the condolences of the U.S. ambassador. We reject them." The U.S. consulates and embassy, like other foreign embassies, had strongly condemned the attack and offered condolences to the victims. Turkish police said the main suspect arrested in Sunday's attack on the Istiklal shopping street was from Syria. She had declared that she had received orders from the Syrian Kurdish militias, the People's Defense Units, YPG. Turkey sees the YPG as an offshoot of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK. The US in turn sees the YPG as a partner in the Syrian civil war in the fight against terrorist militias Islamic States. Finally, going on sports. The head coach of a senior national team of Nigeria, Jose Peseiro, says the Black Stars of Ghana didn't deserve qualifying for the World Cup ahead of Nigeria. Appointed after the failure of the Super Eagles to qualify for the World Cup via the playoff, the Portuguese coach, who is preparing for the friendly against the country, is still pained over the inability to qualify for the World Cup. Ghana beat Nigeria to the World Cup 2022 spot on the away goal rule after a 1-1 draw in Abuja. Peseiro insists they are not a better team than Nigeria and only progress via the away goal rule, which has been scrapped in Europe. At the moment, Ghana are a very good national team, but I think Nigeria, in my opinion, are better. And they showed it in both games of the playoff to qualify for the World Cup. But the result is results. You can create more, you can play better, but in the end, it depends on whether you score or not. And they scored an extra away goal, he said. And this rule, which no longer exists in Europe, in Africa, yes, Nigeria played better than Ghana there at home and not at a great level, but in the end, it went like that. Moving forward, he said the team has already switched focus to winning the next Africa Cup of Nations, a promise he made when he took over the reins as the coach of the senior national team of Nigeria. That ends the world news from BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Buhari regime places 5 million naira bounty on each of 19 wanted terrorists. Reps summon 63 agencies for spending 2 trillion naira without Buhari's approval. We also brought to you court suspends Nnamdi Kanu's trial in terrorism charges. And on sports, Ghana don't deserve to be at the World Cup ahead of Nigeria. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Babagbagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placement only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Good evening.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.